guys, welcome back to Hirehood. It's been super busy weeks for me for last few weeks. Here in Ireland, we are in our second lockdown for past few weeks till December. So work as usual has taken over and couldn't respond much in social media, etc. Anyways guys, let's jump into today's video. In this video, I'm going to explain about 10 important nursing home interview questions. Over the years, I've done hundreds of interviews, and during the interview process, I've noticed a trend. So I took the liberty and created a list of important questions for you. This video might be a lengthy one, so sit back and listen to it carefully. As usual, everyone wants to know the person, so they would start with the most simple question to make you more comfortable. Introduce yourself or tell me about yourself is the first question what you can expect. Majority of interviewers respect their time and candidates' time too, and they often jump into most important questions rather beating around the bush. As a nurse, medication management is a key role that we have to fulfill, so you can expect questions regarding the same. Important key thing is a nurse, while practicing in different countries, your standards might be different to that of Ireland, but the employer or the DON will be expecting the standards applicable to Ireland. As you all know, previously there were only 5 rights in medication management. Now in recent years, they have added additional rights, which makes up to 10 rights in total. I'll share a picture on the screen where you can familiarize yourself. This is a picture from Nmbi's website. Also in the description, I'll be attaching 2 links from Nmbi and hiqa, which explains in detail regarding the medication management procedure in Ireland. Let's move on to the next topic, elder abuse. As you have been interviewed for a nursing home role, your clientele is predominantly older adults. In a nursing home, we cater for all nursing needs. It's our responsibility to advocate for our residents. During your term as a nurse, you might come across multiple issues, and one of them might be abuse to a resident or an older person. To simplify, there are majorly 5 to 7 different types of abuse which could happen to an elderly person. First one is psychological abuse. Second is neglect and acts of omission. Third one is financial or material abuse. Fourth is physical abuse. Fifth is sexual abuse. Sixth is discrimination. As a nurse, if you asked a question, what would you do in an event of a suspected abuse? Answer always should be, I would make sure the resident or the victim is safe and will immediately report to my line manager. They might ask a tricky question as if the person who abused the resident is your line manager, what would you do? Your answer should be that you will report to the next line manager in the organizational structure. So every organization has an organization structure, so you'll be reporting to the next person in the line. There's a beautiful document which was released by HSE. I'll place that link in the description here for you guys to read and familiarize the different types of abuse and its management. The next very important question they might ask is about hiqa and hiqa regulations. It's extremely important for a healthcare professional to understand the hiqa regulations. Guys, hiqa is a governing body for all healthcare related services like hospitals, nursing homes, intellectual disability centers, etc. hiqa has published certain regulations, and it's a very intense document which I will place a link in the description, guys. It's a self-explanatory document. You need to actually click on the link and go through that. It's a regulation handbook which will explain what exactly is the role of a healthcare professional. Let's move on to the next topic, teamwork. They will ask you to provide an example of a time that you showed strong teamwork skills. Please note it's extremely important for you to explain how good you are in a team and what good can you bring into their team. So always have certain examples when you're explaining or before you go to an interview. The next frequently asked question is working under stress. Guys, always start with an example. How did you deal with it? Talk about how the pressure motivates you. Mention the skills you've learned from working under pressure. Mention the goals and end results, etc. Always end in a positive note. Please don't be so negative when you're talking about stress and all those things, because through that question, they're trying to analyze how good you are while working under different stress. Because when you're working in a nursing home or a hospital, there might be occasions where one of your colleagues rings sick or something. You might be ending up with a lot of residents or a lot of patients. So they want to understand whether this person is the right choice to our team. While working in a nursing home or a hospital, you will come across hundreds of incidents or accidents. And one of the questions is how are you going to report? It's a very big topic to discuss itself. Please understand that incidents and accidents do occur in a nursing home or a hospital. Nursing home being a nurse-led environment, other nurses have to take the lead when an incident happens. So you have to be comfortable working under pressure. Any incidents should be always reported, how big or small, to the line manager. If not reported efficiently, it will create multiple issues. So you always make sure that you report any big or small issue to your line manager. I'm going to give you an example here. An 88-year-old lady had a fall in her room during the nightly checks. You noticed her near the en-suite door. What would you do? Person is conscious and says, I'm okay. Guys, one thing you have to understand here is every unwitnessed fall should be considered as head injury. You should start a head injury protocol immediately. So one of the first things you have to do is maintain GCS, Glasgow Coma Scale, for every 15 minutes up to 3 hours, and then 30 minutes for next 6 hours, and hourly after 12 hours of the fall. And you have to understand every nursing homes, every hospitals, every centers, their policies and procedures are different. I'm saying about a specific center that I have previously worked, but every center is different. Your center might say check the GCS every 30 minutes or for next 3 hours, and some other center might say okay, check the GCS for every hourly. So you have to familiarize yourself with the current protocols of the particular center. It'll be too hard to explain in one short video, so I will share a link where you can read the falls or incidents management, reporting an error. So what would you do if you actually see an error, and what would your next steps? As nurses, there might be a possibility where people would commit an error, like a medication error or something like that. If it happens, please do not try to hide it. As soon as possible, please let your line manager know, because it's extremely important, let it be how big or how small. If the actual damage has actually reached the resident, we need to contact the GP and the pharmacy, so many other external bodies. First priority, if anything happens, if you commit a medication error or any sort of error, you have to let your line manager know. So that should be your answer. You should be saying, if I find an error or if I committed an error, I would straight away go and let my line manager know. Often as nurses, we have to deal with extremely difficult families, and that would be one of the questions which should be thrown at you. In that scenario, we have to answer with empathy and explain about your listening skills. It's your responsibility to take even a small complaint or even a bigger issue with great respect and convey the relevant concern to your line manager. The next important question is end of life or palliative care. It's our role to give a dignified end of life journey for all the residents or the patients that we care for. I'm going to place a link again in the description, which is from a hospice foundation in Ireland, which explains what's your role in dealing with end-of-life care. One of the toughest questions is what's your expected salary? So guys, do not jump in and say I want 25 euro or 30 euro or something like that. You have to say I would expect my salary as per your company standards. Just put the ball in their court and let them decide whether you are the right candidate. If you are the right candidate, they will offer you the big money. One other final question what most of the employers ask is, what do you know about us? Always guys, do your homework, research their websites, also read the recent hiqa report, which will explain the standards of that particular nursing home, etc. Please remember, never say any negative things in an interview. That's extremely important. If that's only one thing that you can take out from this whole video, is never say any negative things in an interview about your previous employer or any situations. I'm going to add a bonus tip. When you're answering in an interview, there might be challenging occasions or questions. If you come across a challenging questions, you can always say, I would follow the policies and procedures of the center. Example, if they ask you, if you see a resident being abused in front of you, what would you do? If you forget the answer completely, you could say, I would follow the policies and procedures of the center. So guys, always stay pleasant during the interview process and everything will come into place. So guys, best of luck in your interview. If you like this content, please like, share and subscribe to our channel, Hirehood. Until next time, SREE NAIR signing off. Bye.